Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blue Mondays, the GLORIO blog's premier Neon Genesis Evangelion podcast. I am your host, Zigg, and as always, I am joined by my compatriots, Aqua Gaze. Hello, Aqua.
I love kart racing.
God, right, that did happen. Sorry, we are just coming off the Summer Game Fest stream where they revealed that Ray and Asuka are going to be racing karts with Sonic the Hedgehog and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Hatsune Miku and
Avatar Aang.
They should have put Tupac in that game.
I did see someone joke that across every universe, across every timeline, somehow Miku, Hatsune, and Godzilla will be reunited.
It's true. Across every world. How very appropriate.
Yes.
We are, of course, also joined by G. Hello, G.
The Eureka 7 you all have been watching isn't Eureka 7.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so to clarify, this is a Eureka 7 recap podcast. I'm being sarcastic. It's a self-defense mechanism. This week, we are talking about the second film in the Eureka 7 Hi-Evolution trilogy. The first film was called Hi-Evolution 1, so naturally this film is called Anemone, Eureka 7 Hi-Evolution. That's not confusing at all.
That's how you count. 1, Anemone, okay. Eureka, 4, 5, 6.
No 4s. 4 means death, remember.
Oh, right, yeah.
In case you didn't know that already there. Yes, this is the 2018 sequel, question mark?
I thought you were going to say quote-unquote film.
We'll get into that.
To the 2017 first movie in the trilogy. So, as before, this is set in a new timeline, a reboot of the classic show. I don't really have a huge amount of production stuff for this one. You know, this is mostly the same crew that worked on the first movie, and it came out only a year later. So I will say that, you know, you've got most of your familiar faces back. This time, Tomoki Kyoda is the unquestioned director. There's no chief director hiding this time. They're written by Dai Sato, firmly in his flop era by this point. Yeah, let's...
These two have a lot to answer for. Tomoki Kyoda and Dai Sato.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that this is just the same crew as the first movie, though, because... I'm specifically referring to the CGI sequences, right? Which to me immediately registered as like, they outsourced these to like a different person or studio who was told to like, what is your creative vision for these flashbacks? And they went with CG. And it's strange to me that was a deliberate decision on Bones' part.
I mean, we can get into. I mean, like, this is going to be like getting into the meat and potatoes of the myriad vectors through which one can attack this movie. But yes, I think if we were specifically speaking to just the crew involved with it, yes, I tried to look up a little bit to figure out like, okay, who did do the CG for this?
There are so many studios credited on these
and
films.
So it's quite difficult to like pin down like
because I was convinced like they got Polygon to like do the flashback sequences or something. Right. Like those were completely outsourced.
I mean, it could be any of like a half dozen different studios.
Yeah.
There are literally like maybe 30 studios credited for
like there is a studio credited specifically as the 3D CG in the credits. They're called Graphinica, and the 3D director is Akio Shinohara. I am not familiar with Graphinica. I don't. Not overly familiar with their body of work.
They're probably a support studio, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's not really a judgment one way or the other.
No. So I think it's obviously
billion support studios that we
like all movies have this, right? But I think what we mean though is that fundamentally, though, this is still, for better or worse, I think mostly worse. Sorry to spoil our overall, I think, opinions on this movie. This is still the core creative brain trust of Eureka 7.
Yes. I will say that there are a couple of additions to the cast for this movie. There is Yuya Uchida, who is a standard. That's unfair. Yuya Uchida is a very well experienced voice actor who plays Anemone's father, Ken Ishii, and the young Anemone is played by Runa Tamano, who's interesting because she was only 10 years old when this movie came out. So they cast a child to play a child.
To her credit, she does actually sound like a child and not just a female VA pitching up.
Yeah,
so.
I think, casting children to play children is always kind of risky, but I think actually her performance here is pretty good and one of the more commendable performances there. But yeah, aside from that, we are mostly dealing with a familiar cast there. There is one thing that I should mention, which is that for the appearance of quote unquote Dewey Novak in this movie, he is voiced by Keiji Fujiwara because his original voice actor Koji Sujitani sadly passed away between the last movie and this one. There is a dedication to him at the end of the credits, which is
does that mean both brothers in this show's VAs passed away?
I think it's a good way to solve that quote unquote issue, right? Because you stress the relation between the characters, and it's a nice it's almost a sort of homage, right? Of having his character be voiced by his in-universe brother.
Yes. Fujiwara did not pass away until after the production of this movie.
Okay. Right, yes.
That is.
He was recast for movie 3, but in this movie, Holland does not appear in this movie as well.
Okay, I think that must have been where I got mixed up, because I remember hearing about Holland's VA also passing away, so that's why I was like, wow.
He passed away in 2020.
What a very unfortunate coincidence there.
Yes, unfortunately so. But yeah, we might as well dig into this, because like I said, there's not a huge amount of difference in the
team might be familiar, but the rest of the movie.
Well, I mean, this movie proudly proclaims in its opening credit that this is a Tomoki Kyoda film.
I mean,
yes, it does.
That is kind of the whole problem, right? This is just a completely different movie. It has jack shit to do with Eureka 7.
I mean, you have kind of jumped to the end there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we might as well, right? There's no point pussyfooting around about this. This movie has basically zero connection to the first High-Evolution movie.
It has zero connection to the first. Well, it has a very, very tenuous
we can get
meta
into
connection.
We can get into
mention
but
some proper nouns from the first movie, right?
What I'm speaking to is as a narrative. Despite this being the second movie in a trilogy, it is not a direct sequel to the first movie.
And to be clear, I don't think that that's necessarily a problem, because the idea of a trilogy of movies that is not directly connected but loosely grouped around a thematic idea, not bad. I think a movie.
Maybe I think the way the first movie ends, you could be forgiven for expecting the second movie would be a chronological follow-up.
Yes, I think you have a point there. What I'm saying is that I do not hold the fact that this movie is not a direct chronological sequel against it. It might be a chronological sequel of some kind. It is vaguely unclear and difficult.
Maybe this is distinction without a difference of, yes, holistically, yes. I do not think this particular decision is the sole crime of, what was the full name of this movie again? Anemone High-Evolution?
Mm-hmm. Anemone Eureka 7 Hi-Evolution.
God, fuck off. Whatever. High Evo 2. I think in the totality of this movie's multiple and varied crimes, just coming right out the gate that this movie is not connected to the first, right? That we are immediately thrown into what appears to be, a new timeline, a new universe, a new story, however you want to interpret, at least before they really reveal everything, what this movie is and where it's taking place. It is clearly a much different set of circumstances and
Yeah.
location from the first.
I mean, I would argue, if anything, G, I think your criticism is arguably too narrow. I don't think that one of the major problems is that this isn't a sequel to the first movie.
No, because to be clear,
I think the major problem
that much either. Like,
Yeah.
the major problem here is that this movie is basically not a Eureka 7 movie. Like,
I mean, that's what Tomoki Kyoto says in the movie.
Yeah.
there is like, and you know, I should probably put my cards up early. I like this movie more than the first movie. Not a high bar, I know, and I think that there are some interesting ideas in this movie, but this should have been an original property.
Absolutely.
Or whatever.
Yes.
Like,
I mean, like, again, holistically, I think this movie is doing bolder, more interesting things than the first, obviously.
yeah,
I think if I must interrogate my own like emotional reaction, I think this movie made me angrier than the first movie.
well, I mean, the first movie also kind of has the advantage/disadvantage of mostly just being the TV show, right? You know,
I mean, I think they make you angry in different ways, right? The first movie made me angry because they changed things about the original that were nonsensical and contradicted the themes and the message of the original. This movie made me angry because it purports to say something meaningful about the original while having nothing to do with it and just being super boring as a result.
I mean, again, we spoke when it happened in the show about how opening the multiple universes thing was a Pandora's box that you can't go back from. But in more generally, I think, and this isn't just this film, this isn't just anime, this is all culture everywhere. The mainstreaming of the multiverse, an idea which was always a super niche, extremely comic booky concept, is a problem.
Finish the story. Like commit to the story you want to tell.
Yes.
Like,
I agree. I think like I mean, like there are multiple like people's feet you can lay this at. Like this is the FF7 remakification of media. This is the Spider-Versification of media. This is the Evangelion rebuildification of media. But I think especially here in the context of Eureka 7, if we speak to like what Eureka 7 does with its multiversal concept in this movie, and I don't want to just jump straight to the ending, so I will not like get into the details, but I think more than anything I think about this movie that really, really bothers me is the like meta contextual fiction part. It is the parts of these movies where it feels like Tomoki Kyoto is trying to speak directly to the viewer in a very like fourth wall breaking meta way. And his thesis on Eureka 7 is like so unbelievably like spiteful.
Yes, it is. That's the word for it.
That like I death of the author and all that, but if the author is speaking to me in the work, like, and what he is saying is, I don't like that thing I made, and I don't think you should like that thing I made. Like, how can I help but not be like reactionary to a movie like this?
I mean, the thing is, that's kind of the thing is. That is not a new concept. Like that's basically what End of Ava is, and there have been many works of fiction throughout history that are you are bad for liking this work of fiction, but do it in a more interesting way.
And that's the thing. I think that is the key difference, right? Is like I know a lot of people who like do not like the end of Evangelion because of its sort of meta angle. And I mean, honestly, even me, I'm like kind of always a little mixed.
I am not sure whether I like End of Ava, but I am in awe of End of Ava.
And I actually have a great amount of respect for what Anno is attempting with the end of Evangelion. Now,
also the thing is, in Evangelion, it fits because Evangelion is a story about, in part, like our shared collective consciousness, right? That's what human mentality is a reference to.
Of ourselves.
Right, exactly. So it fits the story of Evangelion. Whereas here in Eureka 7 is, we've said it over and over again, it's a story about the power of love. It's a big feeling show.
It's the true love anime about
and
the
time
surfing
after
kids.
time again, all of these different interpretations, the manga, AO, the first movie, the first High-Evolution movie and this one, basically all of these have the same thing in common. They all say, fuck you for believing in this.
Right, they get darker and more cynical, but not in a way that feels like it feels cynical in the like. I wish I could remember like who put it best, right? But that like a lot of times cynicism feels like an attempt at like emotionally masking because you don't want to like, it is a way to like be faux intellectual without having to confront like your feelings about a work. And I feel like the cynicism in every subsequent Eureka 7 work just does not feel earned, right? Like
it is cynical because it makes clear that they don't believe their own message. Like they basically acknowledge that, it could have gone either way, in this universe, Renton and Eureka are happy forever and they love each other. But there are so many other universes where that doesn't happen.
All right, I'm going to rein this in before we get completely off the rails with it. Let's try and get back to at least the chronological beginning of this movie, because the thing I will say in this movie's favour is that it, unlike the first movie, it has a story that is told in a mostly linear fashion,
right. Sure,
and is almost all original and like not just a rehash of elements we've already seen,
or at least rehashes elements in an interesting way,
in a more interesting way there. But yes, so a little, we get a fairly atmospheric opening with like miniature Anemone running through the streets and the base and stuff, and we get some ground laying here. This is clearly another alternate world, one that's much closer to our own in terms of technological level, societal change and stuff like that.
Just also like the geography, like they reference real world locations, real like things that exist in real world pop culture.
The United Nations is a minor plot point.
It is clearly supposed to be an analog, or at least in our world, or at least we're supposed to think of it as, just regular modern day in the near future.
Yeah, I did enjoy the appearance of Gulliver as a fictional character. That's a fun goof that perhaps they take a little bit too far, but we'll get to that there. And we establish a new Anemone, a new backstory for Anemone. Here she is Anemone Fuka Ishii. She has 2 first names for
Mari Illustrious, what should we call it? Yeah.
For like the only reason I can see that they do this is for an extremely weak sort of plot twist a little later on. It just seems odd, I guess it's an attempt to make her more like a normal girl or something, but like she's still got hot pink hair and is piloting like killer machines at the age of 14 or whatever, so it's very odd there.
It sort of stems from this idea of like, we need to know like who the real Anemone is, right? Because in the show she is just Anemone, and in this, like, she is the mentally disturbed, genetically manipulated super soldier, and in this movie we're like, giving her what do you call it? We're giving her agency, we're making her her own character with a backstory, and with that comes a real name.
I guess, it makes sense when you lay it out like that, but I don't... Part of the problem is that, like, giving Anemone her own movie is clearly a move inspired by the fact she was an extremely popular character.
Yes.
Right. But in the show, Anemone is like kind of the point of the character is that she has no character, right? She is a blank slate who was created exclusively as a human weapon,
right? And I think this is the thing that often I think a lot of creators mistake is like when a character is especially a side character, when they are popular, right? Like they are kind of popular because of their sometimes limited or narrow scope of being in a piece of fiction, in a piece of media, right? Like, and I think oftentimes when the attempt is made to like jump that character into protagonist status, there's sort of the realization that like all the traits that made this character popular, like, do not work in the traditional protagonist viewpoint, unless you are a creator who has like the vision and maybe the bravery to like fully commit, right? Like, I don't know, maybe there is the alternate universe where fucked up evil woman juice Anemone is the protagonist of a movie, and who knows, maybe someone could make that work. But
I mean, I think that is the point, right? Like this character is not Anemone. Like this is like you make a movie about Anemone because she's a popular character, but you do not give her any of the traits that made her a popular character to begin with, aside from the design.
And in fact, I would say that the moments in this show where it goes in this movie where it goes into stock footage and we do get evil woman Anemone are extremely jarring because
it makes no sense. Like, why is this girl who is like completely out of her depth, who is like just trying to do good, suddenly like screaming at Nervash that I hate Nervash and you should die and be torn apart by my claws? Like,
and I think that's the you know, like we'll get into it later, right? But that's where I think the reuse of the like old TV show footage really, like in some ways, maybe feels even worse than it does in High Evolution 1, right? Because at least in High Evolution 1, it's like because it is functionally just a like bizarre retelling of the events of the TV show. It's jarring, but it does not stick out as much. Whereas here, because of the dramatic difference in Anemone's characterization, it makes every echo of the original show feel all the stranger. It makes it feel all the more confusing. Like, why even cast Anemone as the protagonist of this story if this is the type of character you're going to make her?
Right. I mean, like, the truth is that, like, I have nothing against this version of Anemone, you know. She's perfectly fine, but that's kind of the problem. She's just generic plucky girl lead character, you know. She's perfectly nice and sweet and, like, probably would be a pretty nice person if you got to know her. And she's just kind of edgeless, honestly. I
think that just plays into the bigger problem with this movie, that this would have been like, she would have been a perfectly passable protagonist in a movie that had pretty much the exact same premise as this movie, but just didn't tie into the Eureka 7 universe. Then she would have been like fine, you know. She's a nice, brave, adventurous girl. There are some problems with her agency in the back of the movie, but like in general, like you're saying, Zigg, she's a pleasant character. She's just not Anemone, so why make her Anemone?
I mean, the answer is popularity.
Right, and that's where parts of this movie feel cynical in the bad way, right?
I do want to point out as well, like, some of the stuff at the beginning here, you know, we have this, like, last movie we had Ray and Charles as our kind of original characters who are vastly out of character from who you remember. This time it's Misha and Dr. Bear. Who are... the dialogue here is just appalling. It's so bad.
It's rough, dude.
This movie only has two kinds of dialogue. It has either ominous technobabble that doesn't make any sense, or let's explain everything that you already know so the audience understands what is happening.
Like, the level of as you know is unbelievable here. I mean, like, when Misha, as you know, is Erithon area, the world of death, where a lethal dose of apocalyptic life forms are suspended. I'm like, A, what are you talking about? And B, like, you're infiltrating like a death zone. Shouldn't the crew kind of already know this already?
And I think that's like the problem of like, because like it almost has to do this because this is a completely new universe with a completely different context for all these characters and eventually the Nervash, right? And it's like, I think again that complaint of like, if this was just an original movie, well, okay, this exposition is still bad in an original movie, but I think here it feels even clumsier, right?
I would be really interested to like speak to a native Japanese speaker to know if this dialogue is just as bad in Japanese, because I'm sure the translation makes it even more clumsy, but to what extent it's very hard to say. But it's not good. This is
but
all I can say here. And I think, you know, this was kind of a problem in Goodnight Sleep Tight Young Lovers as well, but it's really accentuated here. And this was also a problem in the original parts of High Evolution 1. But the level of like military fetish, technobabble stuff here is like the reason why I opened this podcast with a joke about Neon Genesis Evangelion is because they are so close here. They are.
That's Anno's bag, right? Like Anno is the Anno loves the military-industrial complex, right? Or
there are shots here, like the shot of the tanks lined up on the highway.
Yes,
like that is just the iconic shot from the opening of episode 1 of Ava. Like,
and I think like a part of like the thing we loved about Eureka 7 is like. Here's the thing. In many ways, Eureka 7, like all mecha anime post like 2000, is in some ways informed by what Evangelion is doing.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that like Evangelion does so well is that, as we keep joking, it is the soft feelings mecha anime, right? And this type of like hard-edged like love of military hardware just, does not feel Eureka 7.
No. Eureka 7 is the hippie anime about like the rebels in their spaceship lazing about and surfing. Like,
and I mean, like in Ava at least as well, like the fetishization and focus on military technology was meant to like key into the like the monstrousness of the project, right?
Sure,
The inhumanity of the sort of force that is arrayed against the angels.
And also the coldness that like Shinji is forced into, right? He becomes a cog in this machine that he doesn't understand.
But like here where we have the like we get multiple montages of this, right? But the implication is like we are hot dropping Anemone into the death zone so that they can access this facility that will supposedly we don't know what it does yet, but we know it is going to be the key in turning the tide in our forever war against Nervash.
Against the Eureka 7.
The Eureka 7, which is just so egregious.
They tie themselves in knots to justify that. And for what reason? Just call it the Scub Coal.
I know. And anyways, this montage of like the planes and the jets and the tanks and the boats getting their shit rocked by
technically
the
impressive.
Eureka 7.
You know what this is?
Well, okay,
I think it's time for my hot take.
Oh, yeah?
This is actually not an Evangelion ripoff. This is a Shin Godzilla ripoff.
Oh, no.
I mean, there is, of course, some creative DNA between those.
This is most like many like a lot of the first half of this movie is a kaiju movie, right?
Yeah, I could kind of see that.
And there's a lot of like techno-babbly discussion of how to like properly deal with the kaiju. Like I got a lot of like Shin Godzilla vibes just on top of the general Anno vibes.
I think
of course.
I ended up watching. I was watching this movie with Iro, who has been also morbidly curious about these films.
Mm-hmm. And we should point out again, Iro not a fan of the show as well. So
he may end up being a fan of the show just in comparison to these movies.
He brings his trademark cultured cynicism to this.
But the thing I kept bringing up is like, why do we keep throwing all these men and women in their planes and boats into this clearly feudal forever war against the Eureka 7?
Anemone even asks that question
because they clearly can't do anything. Like, it's not even like they don't even imply that we have to what was it? We have to in Warhammer 40K we have to sacrifice 1 million psychers every day to the God Emperor to like maintain his like super immortal throne. And it's like, that's not even like what's happening here. Like, these dudes clearly aren't even like slowing down the Nervash. So
it's just happening because it looks cool. Like,
I guess you could argue that they're trying to distract.
Like every time the movie cuts back to like another like 500 dudes in their jets getting just immolated by the Nervash. I'm like, what is this accomplishing?
I mean, this is also the classic movie thing where nobody has ever invented long-range artillery as well.
Right.
So,
because clearly humanity is implying this movie to be on its last legs, right? That they're on the verge of extinction.
Yeah. They say 73 countries have been destroyed, 2.6 billion people are dead.
Right. Like, imagine you are like a fucking like jet pilot in this universe, and it's just like, well, it's your turn to get in the plane to fruitlessly shoot at the Nervash.
That's the secret. The Scub Coral has never moved. They've just sent 2.6 billion people in to fight it, and they're all dead now. Yeah, I a lot of the kind of attempt to portray this world as kind of like on the brink of collapse. Like, a lot of the incremental world building details they scatter about are very haphazard and sort of raise a lot more questions than they answer. Like, there's sort of a weird undercurrent in this movie of kind of like politicians and journalists and people are sort of manipulating Anemone for her own,
hence my Shin Godzilla comparison, right?
But that never goes anywhere. Like,
and I think that's a real bummer, because I like stories that explore this, right? This idea of you are the chosen one, but you're not really the chosen one. You have been made into the chosen one by political and media maneuvering. Because
this was a plot point in the original show, right?
Yeah, like this is a thing that happens to Anemone in the original show. Yeah, but they don't really explore it because she's obviously like too far gone to really feel anything about it in the original. So you'd think that this is an opportunity, but mostly what it just comes down to is like one joke where they like dunk on the tabloids for thinking she's gone insane because she's like reacted badly to one comically like shitty insufferable journalist. Yeah.
And it's also an excuse to dress her up in her costume from the show. Which,
give her a big hat.
Fan service. Yeah. But yes, it's we should probably talk about Chat Dominic.
Fuck. What a weird year to watch this movie.
In this universe, Dominic is an AI assistant who lives on Anemone's phone. I should point out that this movie came out in 2018, by the way.
Dominic is Claude. Dominic is her AI boyfriend.
Dom was like, yes, Anemone, you should take the evil woman juice.
There is one scene where this movie sort of like accidentally accurately predicts how useless AI companion apps are.
Yes, totally. That is like actually like by accident, by pure accident. It's like maybe the one good scene in this whole movie. But that's a little later. We should probably just talk into what is the supposed super special facility that they are sacrificing 2.7 billion jet pilots for.
So to get there.
This is the movie's kind of big idea, and I will say this is not a particularly original idea, but I do like the implementation of it here. And the idea is the Eureka 7 thing, the scub coral, comes from another world. So underneath, they have built a virtual reality machine which basically astrally projects the user into parallel universes.
It's basically the Animus, right? Like
it's the Animus. It's Scott Bakula in Quantum Leap. It's whatever you want it to be. Like they do say that you can only be projected to another universe where a vessel already exists. So you kind of take the place of your parallel universe.
It's Days of Future Past. That's what it reminded me of.
And like I said, it is not an original idea.
Yeah.
But if you're going to explore a multiverse, like this is a cool idea. Like I said, quantum leap sliders, all this kind of stuff. Like there is some potential in the idea of like this Anemone being thrown into the world of our more familiar evil woman juice loving Anemone.
Oh my god. Is this a villainous isekai?
God.
No.
Reborn as the villainous in my favorite mecha anime.
I can't believe I was reborn, filled to the brim with evil woman juice in the cockpit of the most evil robot you've ever seen.
Okay, that's just a JAV title, G. Come on.
Yes, ping the JAV titles Twitter account.
Yeah. I do another stylistic touch I do like that going into the alternate universe puts you into 4x3. I think that's kind of a fun visual touch.
I mean, it's not even in 4x3. It's like in a smaller screen. Like
that too.
I mean, you have to pillar and letterbox to get the correct.
Yeah.
I mean, particularly because unlike the first movie, this movie is in like ultra widescreen, like anamorphic aspect ratio. But I think that's fun. I think they do a good job of blending the original footage with the stuff they pull from the TV show. Like the new footage for the 4x3 segments looks appropriately like early digipainty and kind of a bit blobby there. So that stuff is fun.
Sure.
And I don't think like I said, I don't think the idea of like this version of Anemone interfering with the events of the original timeline is a terrible one, but like a lot of the ideas in this movie, it kind of doesn't go anywhere.
Well, here's the problem, right? Because it's doing the clip show thing of like, yes, it's her entering the universe of the TV show, but because it's fundamentally still just reusing footage from the TV show, Anemone cannot actually materially like really change the events.
Also,
right?
Is it the universe of the TV show?
I mean, I think the implication is that she's leaping into a different universe every time. But, you know, they're going into the 4x3 verse. So I'm going to say she is leaping to a series of universes that are a lot like... Because she kills Eureka in the first one.
Yeah, because we clearly see things differing from the original series in the universes that she hops into.
Yeah, I think the implication is that... So this is where in my notes it says, is this just the Jet Li movie The One?
God.
Where like Anemone is traveling across universes, killing Eureka in every universe, and you know what? That's a way more interesting idea than what we get as well.
Yeah, like, the movie's that there's something interesting about that, but instead what we get is again the like weirdly out of character, like
everyone
in these scenes, right? You know, the appearance of Tulpa Dominic, right?
Yes. Your weird spirit guide, Dominic, there.
Who is not AI Dominic, but like,
No, he is AI Dominic, but he's a different AI.
Yeah, he is still AI, but he is a different AI Dominic than the AI Dominic who lives in Anemone's phone.
No, see this, the AI boosters would tell you that this is Dominic 4.0. He's way more advanced and doesn't tell you to take the evil woman juice like Dominic 1.0 would.
But he's also less understanding and empathetic like Dominic 3.5. He has become cold and distant.
Jesus Christ.
That's an actual complaint people have about.
I know. I hate how on the money you are with that shit.
I mean, the one thing I will say that AI Dominic has over real AI is that he's nowhere near as sycophantic. But yeah, like
which is weird, like given how AIs act. But yeah,
all of the stuff around like AI feels like something else they're trying to make a theme of this movie, but they don't really have a conclusion or even a point to make about it. You know, it's just like Dominic is AI. Anemone's father was an AI researcher. Dominic, like it turns out, Dominic was an AI bomb that was meant to disrupt. Question mark.
Whatever. The thing is, this is.
They were just looking for an excuse. Like they figured we can't make a Eureka movie without having Dominic in there in some way, but they couldn't really fit actual Dominic into this movie, so they made him an AI. Or are they like the creators of Eureka 7, which is understandable, hate Dominic so much that they like always cast him in a role where he is like killed off immediately.
Yeah, it's I mean, this is kind of a knock-on problem of the changing of the whole Anemone character, right? Because Dominic is a character who only really makes sense when Anemone is also a character in the context of the original show, right? So without that, you kind of have to find a new need for him, and, you know, a kind of like a vaguely soft boy, whipping boy is just not really something you need in a lot of narratives there. I've got a couple of other notes as well here, like there is even a fucking shadowy international cabal like there is in Evangelion
of
here,
course,
because I don't know, you know.
I acknowledge that the council has made a decision.
Yeah. Like Dr. Bear is here, and look, I know Dr. Bear was always like a comedy, goofy character who looked kind of gonkish, but here he kind of looks like a Funko Pop in a bunch of shots. His head is now so large it's bigger than the rest of his body.
You're right. Like there were parts where I was like, has his character design been flanderized, or was he always proportioned like this? You know, it's a little. And I think maybe in the context of a movie that is so much more dramatic, like Hi-Evolution 2, it's what makes his appearance all the more jarring, especially in his role as like you know, we were talking about like, you know, the introduction of Misha and Dr. Bear as like major recontextualized characters in this movie, and it's like they're like to continue the analogy, right? Like they're basically like this universe is like Misato and Gendo Ikari, right?
Like Dr. Bear is straight up Gendo.
Down to the glasses, and it's like It's
one bit I did enjoy is the bit where Anemone says the girl with the blue-green hair is always yelling Renton, and on my note just says, yeah, she does do that a lot, admittedly.
yes,
Anyway, speaking about, weird Gendo Ikari, Dr. Bear, we should probably get on to Punished Venom Dewey.
Oh my god.
Venom, yeah.
Strap me into the crucifixion machine, woman.
To die for the children. No, Dewey has just become... God, they have completely ruined him.
It's like, man, I can't believe...
He has just become Sephiroth. Like, he has become, like, ominous thing saying, always, like... I am always 5 steps ahead. I know things you people don't, and I'm going to make the viewers believe that I am smart by saying a bunch of stuff that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, by making him into like a superhuman kind of like magic villain, they've made him way less interesting than when he was just a communal garden fascist.
Right, the thing that made Dewey such a fascinating character in the original Eureka 7 is like how much he is driven by like, in many ways, like petty ignorance, right? Like his refusal to recognize the
that the world doesn't revolve around him.
Right, like his refusal to recognize the sapience of the Scub Coral, his refusal to, recognize his brother, his refusal to like, just like everything about him is driven by like, I mean, there is ideology, but so much of it is just personal. It's personal pain.
I mean, the ideology is I should be in charge of everything and everyone should listen to me.
He is a typical fascist in that he builds layers of reasoning around himself. And when you all peel them back, what remains at the core is that he's just motivated by irrational emotions.
He's a stupid thug.
Yeah, like, I hate things and I don't understand why, so I'm going to make up a bunch of reasons to justify my biases, to make my bigotry seem rational.
Yeah.
And I think to like turn him into this sort of like meta, all-knowing seer, he can see between the lines of the universes. He knows the true shape of the world. It's like, not this dude, man.
They turned him into the guy he was cosplaying as. Like,
yes, that's perfect.
That is a good point.
Yeah. That is exactly what they've done to Dewey.
Also, like, the presentation is just so comically.
They crucify him.
God.
They crucified him like fucking the corpse of, is it Lilith at the bottom of Nerve?
Yeah.
Like, like he's fucking strung up on a cross.
Like, you thought the Christian imagery in Ava was superfluous. Like, we ain't seen nothing.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like, he's had his eyes gouged out, and he's permanently chained to a crucifix, and like, I was like, cool. Like, can you put down your 8th grade literature book? And like,
I think some of the like worst like dialogue in this movie, not just in terms of the quality of the writing itself, but the thesis of this movie gets delivered by Dewey, and I just think some of the worst things about this movie get said out of this man's mouth. It's really something.
What is their obsession with proving Dewey right? There is so much supplemental stuff in Eureka 7 that tries to prove that Dewey was right. And that just sort of flies in the face of the entire show.
And I don't know what it is. Like, is that their attempt of like, is that trying to like, this is what I talk about when I say that the needless cynicism of the post-TV show Eureka 7, right? Like,
I mean, some of it might just be that those dudes got old and became grumpy misanthropes.
Probably. I mean,
I guess.
Again, like, some of this is scuttlebutt, right? Some of this is apocryphal, right? But, it is known that there were creative differences about the ending of the original Eureka 7 TV show during its production.
Between Sato and Kyoda, specifically.
Which is all the more bizarre because it seems like now they're walking in lockstep here.
Sato is the only credited scriptwriter on this movie.
Like, before, you could almost argue, oh, maybe Dai Sato's the one who wanted the more optimistic ending, but like, your credits in this movie, man. Like,
and the thing is, like, you can do a more cynical Eureka 7. Like, I think the manga did a relatively good job of doing a bittersweet ending, but this is something completely different. This is just like, because this more explicitly like you just give Dewey the forum to just yell, "I told you, man! I told you!" at everyone.
Well, it's not even that. Like, he doesn't even really have a thesis. It's just ominousness is coming.
Yeah.
You know, like it's. There is so much, like, this is a child's idea of what it means to make something deep, right? Like, all of this stuff with the seventh lamb and the super six. Like, what is
Renton was chosen to be a child of God and offered up as a sacrifice.
Yeah,
like, what is the point of the super six stuff? It has absolutely no bearing on anything else which happens in the movie.
Everything you see is not real, is not what you think it is. Like, yeah.
It's, you know, like, and again, you know, I don't want to keep going back to the Ava comparisons, but they are unavoidable. Right?
And it's all the more, I mean, and this is like, for the longest time, I was known as like someone who had a lot of beef with Ava. And, you know, I think over time, the nuance I've arrived at is I have less beef with Ava itself as I do with the fact that it seems like every person in Japan learned all the wrong lessons from Evangelion.
It's truly the Watchmen of anime. The source work is good, like, but the...
Anemone, Eureka 7 Hi-Evolution is like the living embodiment of that beef of like, oh, this is why I don't like, or I don't like Ava's influence on the medium, right? Because it's an attempt at all of the flash with none of the substance.
Yeah. And to be clear, like, most of the Christian imagery in Ava is Flash.
It's also Flash there! Yeah, that's like,
I mean, the reason it's there is because it is an apocalyptic story and Christian imagery invokes visions of apocalypse. Like, that's the thing.
Yes.
Like,
also, it's there because Anno loves Ultraman and Ava was Catholic. So, like, if you do not know about that stuff, look it up, because that is honestly why most of it is there. But so I just, you know, the Dewey stuff is so, like, again, you know, like, not to praise Goodnight, Sleep Tight, Young Lovers, but like that film casting him as like a murderous paedophile who is already dead before the movie begins is much more true to his character than him being like some sort of blind sage from the other world.
You know what he reminds me? Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
He is the like frigging like. He's like the Joker in Dark Knight's Death Metal, where the Joker suddenly becomes like this ominous prophet who has seen the multiverse. And it's like, no, you're the fucking Joker. Like,
I will point out that, like, when we do similes and comparisons, they are meant to be to things that are more broadly understandable, not less broadly understandable. But yes, I because I am a weird comics freak, I do kind of understand where you're coming from.
Well, you know, shout outs to Anemone having enough of this journalist's disingenuous assertions and mashing that RT button.
Yep, just slugs him. You know,
or her. Dude, I think is it a female journalist here?
I think it's a dude who is.
But anyways, yes.
I mean, the journalist has some valid points, but just like puts them across in the shittiest.
The thing that was funniest to me was like, wait, this is a world where the free press still exists.
Yeah, like, and where apparently not even the free press, like gossipy tabloids still exist.
Like, you know, because the context here is like during these operations, right? Anemone, like in the original TV show, which again is like one of those things of like, is this just here to like echo what Anemone's role was in the original
Seemingly
TV show?
So, because again, it goes nowhere.
Right, is like, okay, she is a propaganda piece, right? As much as she is, you know, the pilot who will save the world, she is also Anemone, the idol, the princess. You know, she's in this like ridiculous like marching band outfit. You know, she's doing press tours. You know, and I was like, so you're aping all the like dystopian elements of Evangelion, right? Like Nerve and Tokyo 3, you know, all this like we live in under an authoritarian system because
international like secret society conspiracy.
Right. And it's like it's justifiable in Evangelion that, oh, well, in a world where humanity is pushed to the brink of extinction, that human governments would take a much firmer hand over the populace, right? But like, so what is going on in this world where we are feeding 2.7 billion jet pilots to the Nervash every day, but gossip rags still exist?
I mean, I I guess it's meant to show that, like, the resilience of the human race. But yes, it does raise some serious questions about, like, I would say that if almost half of the global population were killed, there might be some appreciable changes in society.
And they do imply that in some places, right? They imply that with, like, the state of the world, right? They imply that with, like, God, it's so funny. There's like a scene somewhere in this movie where a dude is like doing the Japanese politician on a truck thing, and I'm like, with like the megaphone
loudspeakers and stuff,
and I'm like, wait, what is actually the world of this movie, right? Like, what is the actual state of this world? Like, where, like, are politicians still like campaigning while the Nerf Ash has eaten its like 13th million?
Yeah,
like,
and like we're spending like trillions of dollars on secret world hopping like military underground bases and stuff.
Yes.
Like, you feel like that perhaps civilization would have coalesced or collapsed.
And I think it's like, this is not, to be clear, all of this is not to be like, this is not to attempt to be like some sort of, cinema sins gotcha, right? Like, I bring this up because it just like contributes to the like inconsistent, like nebulous feeling of this movie, right? That it is trying to ape
the flimsiness to the fiction, right?
Like, you're attempting to ape the aesthetics of other works, but you're not like committing to them in the way that those works did, and that makes your imitation feel all the more just flimsy, thin, like see-through.
And I mean, like, there's so much stuff. I mean, I've already talked about how like the Super 6 stuff has absolutely no bearing on anything else in the movie. I don't know, maybe there's a spin-off or something, but that doesn't make it good in the moment. They talk all about how, like, when Anemone's dad was using the dimension hopping machine, that like the Eureka 7 crept back along the line and like killed thousands of people in a multiplies incident, but that never comes up again either, and it's not important. It's kind of only there just so that Anemone can freak out at that journalist. It's
right.
Just so much. This movie bears the hallmarks of like bad writing, in the sense that there is all at once way too much superfluous detail and not enough background detail.
None of it matters.
Yeah, like that's the thing.
Like, after watching this movie, there was a little bit of like, am I stupid? Is my brain cooked by the iPad? Like, did I not pay close enough attention to this movie? Like, should I have like tried harder to internalize the proper nouns in this movie? And, I think my conclusion is no, because like this movie also did not respect its own technobabble.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Like, what I found confusing is like at the beginning, or when Anemone first like descends into the inner world, or the flashback zone, or whatever we will call it, like, you get the feeling that she has destroyed the Eureka 7, except then the Nerf Ash shows up again, or like, are there different Eureka 7s all over the world? That was like, even something fundamental like that was not clear to me.
Well, the impression I got is that this monster is kind of like a conflagration of like multiple timelines, sort of like, sort of the fallout of all these various timelines sort of leaking into this world, right? Which is why every time Anemone ends another timeline, or like ends another version of Eureka, it goes down by like 10 or 12%.
Yeah, it deals a blow to it reduces one of its health bars.
Also, just before we move on, I will just want to say one last thing about the Dewey scene, about crucified Dewey, punished Dewey. This is like, I mean, I had a feeling this line would bother me, while watching it, but it was only at the end of the movie where I realized how much like this line is like the thesis of this whole film, right? It's where Dewey says, even if God creates a world he does not like, he will not destroy it. Rather, he washes away the evil society and rebuilds it, right? And like, if you choose to just interpret that, like, if you I think Iro literally said, if you did find and replace every mention of God in this movie with Tomoki Kyoto, and could find and replace world with Eureka 7. Yeah. This is just the thesis of this damn movie.
Also, destroying the world and eradicating everything off of it and rebuilding is the same thing.
Right, which I can kind of forgive that, because Dewey is meant to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yes. But the point is, right, the idea of like, and again, well, we will get to, the line that I referenced at the start of this podcast, right?
Thesis,
but like,
yes.
like, just this idea, like, I don't know, like in this world where like Dewey is in some ways meant to be. I don't know if Tomoki Kyoto intended for Dewey to be his like personal mouthpiece, but like the way this movie concludes, I can only assume Dewey is his mouthpiece, just because the events of this movie follow like what Dewey says, right? And
it's a very hard conclusion to escape, honestly.
Yes.
Whether it is intentional or unintentional kind of doesn't matter.
Dewey is the prophet who has seen all the timelines. As to why you would identify yourself with the pedophile fascist, I don't know, but
well, no, that's in a different timeline. Here he's a martyr. Anyway, we should move on, but I will also say that despite, all of the complaints we have made, all of the problems we have identified, nothing in this movie made me flinch more than the billboard that said Generación Blur on it. I was like, no. Fortunately, the moment passes, but nevertheless,
I think I probably missed that when I was watching. But
it is. Let's just say, also Misha's cat wallpaper on her computer.
Yeah.
There.
Now that we're talking about fun little details, I do like the bit where Anemone Googles Renton and it references Train Spotting.
Oh God,
I don't like that because don't just say your illusions out loud. It's like saying, we named Anemone because of the dual meaning and also because it's a type of coral. Like, what? Just let the audience figure that stuff out.
Yeah, that is true.
Shout outs to, again, maybe, like, I think as we alluded to earlier in the podcast, like, maybe the one actually kind of good scene in this movie, right, which is Anemone arguing with her AI Dominic on the phone.
Yeah.
And maybe only accidentally made good by the state of technology in 2026 when we are recording this, of Anemone basically demanding that AI Dominic on her phone be more sycophantic.
Yes. I will also give a shout out to the scene near the beginning of the movie where Anemone is like, oh no, she can't hear us. She has AirPods in.
Oh yeah, that's true. There's that. Yeah. But yes, it's just like Anemone is basically just like AI Dominic. You need to like praise me more. You need to coddle me more. And AI Dominic is like, I'm sorry, Anemone, I can't do that.
Yeah. We get some flashback stuff with Anemone's dad here, and it is just the most weak-ass tea, awful, like, naive, stupid shit. Be nice to people and they will be nice to you stuff. Like, it's
truly making Adrock Thurston a silent character was like the smartest thing the original Eureka 7 ever did. Is you know what? That show understood correctly. Dead dads shouldn't talk.
Yes. It's just so like okay, so the idea of like making a female character obsessed with their dead father is already, let's say, a trope with problematic history.
Oh sure.
Just like this, the stuff is so weak sauce, it's not even, he doesn't even have wisdom to impart. It's just kind of like, do unto others as you would want to do them to do unto you. And I'm like, yeah, thanks, Einstein.
It's
like,
generic himbo, yeah.
It's just so, it's so childish, and yes, this is technically a movie for teenagers, but, it's...
Is it though? Like,
I mean, whatever. Like,
it's a movie made for fans of the original show.
Who are all 30-something at this point, like us there. But yeah, I guess we should move on to the question mark climax of this movie. I mean, do you want to talk about the line? Is the thing.
What even is there to say?
The Eureka 7 you have all been watching isn't Eureka 7.
Yes.
Do you get it, guys? Do you get it?
Like, if we want to just like get into it, right? That like what this movie basically posits, right? And this is where we get into like the parts of like where this movie just feels outright spiteful, right? Spoilers, what a surprise. This movie is a meta commentary on the Eureka 7 franchise as a whole. And
if talking about tired hacky moves that have been done before,
and that like all the Eureka Sevens you watched were fake Eureka Sevens, right? They were all. I can't believe I'm out here saying, I apologize to Mobile Suit Gundam G-Quux. I didn't realize that your version of a Forsaken Child recreating the universe repeatedly in an attempt to realize the one universe that they sought all this time would be handled way better than the one in Eureka 7.
Forgive me, I was not familiar with your game.
Yes.
Plato over here screaming at the projections at the wall of the cave.
Yeah. It's so... I mean, I don't even know what to say. Cynical, yes, it's cynical. Like hacky, yes, it's hacky. But it's just... It's so presumptuous. Like, oh, hey, guys, the Eureka 7 you watched and you fell in love with, that was nothing. This is the
This
real
movie
shit.
is the real Eureka 7. I mean, like, I didn't even read the rest of the line, which, again, I don't want to, like, say completely that everything Dewey says is what Tomoki Kyoto is saying, but, like, because of our previous conclusions, when Dewey then follows that up with, there are countless worlds a false god has been creating and destroying. In other words, a pile of trash. Like...
That's right. All of your fanfics suck.
Yeah, it's so spiteful.
Okay, Dewey, maybe you're onto something here. I admit.
And it's like, okay, a creator having a complicated relationship with a thing they made is nothing new. We've discussed this. We talked about this already. But I think even I don't think Anno denies the existence of the original TV Evangelion. You know what I mean? A lot of his subsequent work is a dialogue with that show, and how it changed him for better and for worse. Yes.
I don't particularly like the rebuild of Evangelion films.
Neither do I.
but they are at least, I feel like they are unvarnished expressions of Anno's ambivalence about the monster he has created.
And so I think here in Hi-Evolution 2, where we basically find out that what this movie chooses to reveal is that every single instance of Eureka 7 that has ever been published is sort of a dream brought into reality by Eureka herself, overwrought with the grief of having killed Renton during the events of the experience in, I guess, quote unquote, the prime timeline.
Yeah, when she became a slime. Yeah.
Yes.
The time I got reincarnated into a slime.
And that her grief over killing Renton in that timeline has led her to attempt to recreate Eureka 7, the events of the Eureka 7, the story, myriad, countless times in an attempt to, I think, to bring Renton back. And so the TV show, Good Night, Sleep Tight, Young Lovers, the manga, the PS2 game,
which they just straight up show key art from. Show us a screenshot, you cowards.
Yes, that these are all... Eureka's doomed, tragic lashing out at a cruel and indifferent universe.
I will note a couple of other appearances at that montage. There are quite a few screenshots from Al in there.
Oh, yep.
There was also a random chibi CGI version of Eureka who...
That must have been some I have shorts,
some mobile game or something.
When she showed up as a cameo in Puzzle and Dragons or something.
I kind of need to find out now.
And and for all that to culminate, and then this movie concluding, literally looking at the camera and saying, you have to accept reality. This is Eureka 7. This movie, this universe is the only real Eureka 7. And that part of growing up is learning how to make peace with that. And learning how to move on, and sure, it may not be the Eureka 7 you want, but part of growing up is making the best of the hand you've been dealt. And I mean, I am screaming at the screen "fuck off" during this whole sequence. It's what a I don't know, man. Again,
the thing is and I'm kind of going to go to the same argument I made when I was defending Good Night Sleep Tight Young Lovers and to be clear, this is bad. I do not support it, not even in the same way that I supported Good Night Sleep Tight Young Lovers. I think it is good to be disrespectful of our idols, right?
Yes,
I think it is good that we should try to smash our saints, but not in this way.
So that's the thing, right? Is destroying your own idols is an extremely based move if you do it good.
Yes.
But if you do it badly, I think it is actually the most destructive thing you can do to the goodwill of your own fiction.
Because then it's like, we replaced the thing you loved with something way shittier. And that's exactly what this movie does.
And then we claimed that the shittier thing is the real thing and that you're stupid for liking the original thing.
Yeah, like it's like there is a way to reject toxic nostalgia and the sins of the past. I mean, the show Eureka 7 is kind of about letting go of the sins of the past, right? That's one of the basic tenets of the story there. But to try and teach this lesson while filtering through a billion layers of technobabble and a billion, call them what you want, homages, kind of like cribs from better stories and better shows and better movies. It's just so very... There is so much hubris here.
Yeah, it's pretentious.
I mean, the thing is, all of the things you show in that montage are kind of bad. The first High-Evolution movie, bad. Good Night Sleep Tight Young Lovers, my defenses aside, kind of bad.
Yeah.
How? Absolutely terrible. It's like, you're saying these were all mistakes. Yes, they were mistakes.
Yeah.
But let's now continue making mistakes.
And that's the thing, right? Like a version of this plot that's more reconciliatory, that recognizes that, yes, we have done wrong by this franchise many times.
We strayed from God's light.
And that we are trying to make right is a message I can kind of get behind. But you didn't make right here either.
You just... and, I said this about the first High-Evolution movie as well, but, the stink of Eureka 7 Ow is all over.
Oh, yeah. No, because, because, again, that show and what that show posits about... I mean, again, to be clear, I don't care... We're never watching Owl, all right? We are never doing that as part of this project, all right? What that show decides to do with Rented Eureka is, that's, fucking patient zero of all this shit, right?
I think that... So, we can't go into a full-on breakdown of Owl because that would take days. I think the Rent and Eureka stuff in Owl is some of the very... little stuff in that show that actually works for me. I think
okay, hold on.
The dead sister and all that. So I mean, we're in full on spoiler mode here. We can just say it, they show it in those flashbacks.
Yes, but I don't know. Okay, fine. I've always found
just kind of I don't think it's particularly effective, and I think it's kind of out of character for them. But it does at least establish an emotional stake and a sort of reason in that show. The problem with that show is that every single other element is completely superfluous. The problem with How is that there is no story. It is just a series of events which happen that are barely connected to each other and have no bearing on anything else.
Sure.
And that's kind of this movie as well. An obsession with technobabble, an obsession with minutiae of storytelling, an obsession with kind of cliched, shitty characters. All of that stuff was in Owl, and it's all here as well.
Yeah, and it all kind of amounts to nothing, right? Which I think is the thing that is so again, I sometimes think that the accusation of pretentious gets thrown around too lightly, but I think that term perfectly applies to the High-Evolution project, right? It is all the pomp and circumstance of works that are far more sophisticated, and High-Evolution just completely fails to say, I think, anything meaningful about Eureka 7.
Here's one of the problems. Eureka 7 wasn't that deep.
Yeah, truly, it was not. Like that's the thing.
I love the show with all my heart, but it
Yes.
is not that deep. Like it is the true love show. It's not like, at least with Ava, you can argue that like it's a commentary on depression and human nature. But like Eureka 7 is mostly a show about how cool the surfing robots are and how great it would be if we could all find true love. You know, I'm not saying it's not effective. I'm not saying it's not my favorite anime ever, but it's not deep.
Yes, and I think that's fine, right? Like that's a thing. Like, and I think, and here's the thing: I would even say that trying to like mine more thematic depth out of Eureka 7 is not an inherently misguided decision.
Of course not. Yeah.
But I think the ways in which Tomoki Kyoto and Daisato have tried to do it here is, well, I mean, it's not just like disastrous; it's like outright cancerous to the rest of Eureka 7, right? Because you've decided to make this a meta commentary on the franchise. Like, again, here's the thing, right? Like, in the world in which in the world in which every Eureka 7 sequel is simply bad, is still a disappointing world, but like a lot of franchises go bad after the first century. Like that's just how it is sometimes, right? Sorry, man. You know, look, it just them's the breaks, right?
Yeah.
The fact that Eureka, the Hi-Evolution projects, like, because they decide to get meta with it, right? Like, it chooses deliberately to poison the well of the entire like identity of Eureka 7, right?
I mean, to be clear, I do not consider that this movie damages my affection for the original series because I simply divorce them from
No, because you can simply divorce it from this. Yeah. Yes, they are that disconnected, but
it is attempting to poison them.
That is its attempt, right? And that's where I take more umbrage. Like, this movie does not make me love the original Eureka 7 any less, but where I take umbrage is the fact that this movie attempts to do that, right? That this movie's like almost its explicit stated aim is it wants to make you like the old thing less.
Yeah, and you know, like meta commentary is so very difficult to do right? You know, because it, in some sense, it is actively attempting to break your suspension of disbelief, which is the one thing that every story should attempt to maintain, right? You are,
yes,
and I think the net result is if you do not nail it, it is sort of cancerous to your story, right?
Yes.
Because once you realize that something is a meta commentary, nothing matters because it's just, you know, it is, you see behind the curtain, you see the writer playing with his puppets and all that stuff, and you know I don't think the meta commentary is completely fatal to this movie, but that's because I just don't think it's done well enough to really deconstruct anything at all.
Yeah, the healthiest thing you can do is just like jettison this movie from your memory. You know?
Yeah, and yeah, I think, you know, there's some stuff to like in this ending. You know, like the audio visual assault is as strong as ever. You know, I like Anemone's weird the end themed spearhead, which
okay, I thought you were going to talk about the Gulliver the end, Shin Gulliver.
Yeah, Shin Gulliver is okay. So my notes just say that's just an Ava, and that's just an Ava.
I think what just makes this the most tragic, what makes this like tragic most of all is why this didn't have to be Eureka 7. Like, you didn't have to make this, and still they made it, right? Just to quickly come back to what we were talking about previously.
Well, I think that's because for this story, they started at the end, right? They started wanting to make a meta commentary on Eureka 7, and the rest of this movie is kind of built around the sort of weird plot machinations that you would need to get there, you know. And generally, you know, I do not claim to be a particularly good writer, but I do think it's normally important that you start your stories at the beginning rather than at the end there, you know. I mean, I think, you know, Shin Gulliver, I think is kind of a fairly good example of the problems with this movie, is in that it's kind of cool in isolation and does some funky, weird stuff, but it's like it's taking a simple, homely little joke from the original show and sort of strapping it with knives and lasers and you know what I mean, right? Like,
no, totally.
We liked Gulliver in the original show because he was a little guy who was kind of completely.
So what if we made him a cool Ava unit? And it's
what if we made the mascot a Precure?
It's just kind of like, and that's what I was talking about when I said at the beginning of this podcast, right? Like, having Gulliver be like an in-universe fictional character is fun, you know. Yeah. It's fun when Misha eats that packet of Gulliver brand crisps, you know. What's less fun is when, like, the Gulliver themed, the entire ending of this movie is Gulliver themed.
Right, I mean, maybe we should get to that part of this.
So we should probably talk, like, we have talked a little bit about, like, the weird images of other shows as well, like, but we should talk a little bit about, like, baby Anemone meeting baby Eureka inside the play park from the Matrix Reloaded.
It really is.
They can become best friends forever, and all of a sudden Anemone becomes a, like, magical girl protagonist who wants to save people with the power of friendship.
Yeah, like, it's just, like, there's not, like, if you're going to do a movie about, like, heady topics like, you know, the value of life and you know, multiple timelines and stuff, you should probably have a more defining debate than just kind of like Eureka going, I'm sad, and Anemone going, you shouldn't be sad, and Eureka going, okay, now I'm not sad. I'm you know, I'm exaggerating, of course, but
that is kind of what it is, right? Is like,
it's not much of a conclusion, really.
Like, because the core final, like, you know, conversation of this movie is, yes, it's Anemone and Eureka finally meeting, and, you know, Eureka sort of like communicating her grief, her desire to reunite with Renton, her regrets, and again, like, I think. Again, in a movie where, like, this movie's, like, just better in general, Anemone giving the extremely generic platitude of, like, life is hard, but you have to keep living is, like...
Yeah, I'll accept my sadness and live for the future. Yeah, sure you will.
You know, but in a movie, like, this fucking bad, like, for that to be all you have to offer to the, I don't know, pseudo-immortal, time-hopping... choral reality writing god of this universe.
I will point out on that note that, like, it's not really explained how Eureka gained the power to, like, dream universes into reality. There were a few oblique references to the silver box,
which was also a thing in the previous movie? Question mark?
I don't remember.
I think it is mentioned in the first movie. I think it is related to the super weapon that... I think it is that Adrock... I think it's like, is it in the prequel section where, like, Adrock does not want to use the silver box against the scub coral or something?
Sure, I believe that.
Yeah, with the whole, like, acid jazz destroyed the world thing.
In any case, I assume that they will go into that stuff more in the third movie. But
so will they? We'll see, I guess.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, but yeah, it's just you know, there's the bit where Anemone goes, "You're the same as me," and I'm like, no.
Yeah. We have both lost. Oh man, that's it.
Congratulations, that's 75% of movies.
Except that's not even true in this version of Anemone, because this version of Anemone never met and fell in love with Dominic, right?
I know, she lost her father.
Oh, her
right?
father. Yes, that's what you meant by lost a man. Yes, my bad.
Yes, and I don't know. Like, it never feels like that there's any stakes or weight to the conflict, right? Like, it's just very and okay, I will say I kind of like this bit, which is the nightmare of giant Gullivers trying to...
The 128 Gullivers tech demo?
Yes, it is super stupid and makes no sense, but that's kind of why I like it. You know, like it.
I mean, it's a non sequitur that at least makes you stop thinking about the rest of this movie's plot for a little bit.
Instead, it makes you think, "Wow, this CGI is kind of bad." Huh?
It's not very good.
I think what they're trying for is a kind of like end of Evangelion style surreal nightmare.
Yeah.
But it's just so goofy, like at one point I was just like singing, "It all comes tumbling down, tumbling down."
So that's the thing, right? So it is clearly trying to echo the like sort of tonal dissonance of the end of Evangelion, right? Take something that is familiar and then give it a far more sinister, disturbing context, right? You know, the being surrounded by the creepily grinning Rei Ayanamis as the world is brought to ruin, right? Like totally, it's like okay. I'm sorry, you can't do that with Gulliver. Also, let's be clear, this is not our Gulliver.
No.
This is not, like... And
this Gulliver redesign is very bad.
I do not like this Gulliver redesign. Like,
this is like the Final Fantasy VII remake Moogle Gulliver.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, again, that worked when he was meant to be like a cheesy corporate...
Right, like all-universe mascot, sure, but it's like...
But like now that we're meant to think he's cute for real and or / scary, it's just like he just looks like you took a badger and got it high on laughing gas or something.
I do not like its shiny anime eyes. My Gulliver is a beady-eyed, platypus-shaped thing. Yes.
I do not like that it has a mouth. Gulliver should not have a mouth.
Yes, exactly.
I do not like that it just looks like a shitty CGI model.
Because it is a shitty CGI model.
And so when you make us look at hundreds of them for the final sequence of this movie. I mean, again, whatever. It is what it is. But
again, I do at least appreciate like the surreal nightmare of them like tumbling out of walls and squeezing out of buildings.
There is a little bit of like, somebody's very like proud of their like physics engine.
Yeah,
their Gulliver tech that they developed for this film.
Yeah, I mean, like to be clear, it mostly works as comedy, whether it intends to work or not. You know, like. They had to be doing it deliberately when that one like smashes through the ceiling and does the "here's Johnny" face, right?
You have to
that
assume
has to be deliberate, but you know it is at least visually interesting and fun.
Sure,
you know which I'll take it. You know. Anyway, this. Like the thing I have written for this ending is "gay end of Evangelion?" ? So they end up on a beach somewhere.
Wow,
also,
just like End of Evangelion.
Yeah, well, that's why I said it. You know, except it's Anemone and Eureka rather than you know. Also, all of the rest of the characters, like the Gecko is here. The
big Nervash dies and crumbles into dust, and then from the rubble emerge. Like the Gecko State crew is here. Ray and Charles are here.
Yeah.
The girls that we didn't even mention.
No, we did mention them. The something six. The Super
Six.
Sure.
Yes, the girl squad. Yes, you're right.
Six. Yeah, the Sinister Six.
That were in the preview of the previous movie.
The egg from Angel's Egg is here.
Yes.
Featuring the egg from Angel's Egg.
God.
That's unfair. It could be the egg from Dark Souls 3. And inside the egg is the most Evangelion-esque version of the Nervash yet.
Yep.
I bet we have said the word Evangelion in this podcast more times than some of the actual Evangelion.
Stretch Armstrong Evangelion.
You know, look, I haven't gotten a chance to talk much about Mecha in this episode.
That's because there's not a lot of it.
Yeah. So this is the part where I'll just say, my taste is my taste. Did I like the hyper-militarized version of the Nervash in the previous movie? Of course I did. I do not like this particular version of Nervash very much. I
do not like this one. I do not like the weird puppet version that is the manifestation of the Scub Coral.
Stretch Armstrong.
I think like we are straying far. Like we're straying far from the light of God, and by God, I mean Shoji Kawamori. Like these do not feel like Kawamori designs anymore.
I think the like mech I like most in this movie is the little like box on wheels that they drop out of the plane and turns into a buggy.
Oh, that's actually fun. Cool. That's a fun little thing. Yes, a fun little device.
Yes, I do want to point out as well that I don't know how real this is, but this big kind of like monster thing that the Scub Coral turns into at the end here sure does look a lot like the mountain where Generation Bleu is based in Eureka 7 Owl. That has like weird.
Yeah.
It's like Yoshitaka Amano Final Fantasy final boss design.
Yeah, I just like I was like, oh, is this meant to be a deliberate reference?
I think.
And remember how the end was buried under that thing?
God, I think you might be onto something. Fuck. But here's the thing.
So again, like I am not sure, but
and also this movie doing what it has done with the imagery of previous works already.
Yeah.
It could just be nothing more than a simple visual callback.
At least this movie does confirm that Owl is a parallel universe to the original Eureka 7, which everybody with common sense believed anyway.
Oh, yes.
So,
yes.
But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I was like, I'm not sure, but that does seem stupid enough to be the kind of thing they would do.
Yes, I would believe it.
Anyway, this Nervash Stretch Armstrong thing is actually a message from Renton, who is somewhere, some other time, some other place, some other movie, and I guess High Evolution 3 will be the search for Spock.
Is this supposed to be the Renton from High Evolution 1, or
who was apparently not torn to pieces by dogs? Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he shot those dogs. Remember?
I mean, he is wearing that specific outfit, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought he was wearing his outfit from the end of the.
No. I think actually, hold on. I'm looking at it now. This is his outfit from the end of the
TV show.
TV show. Okay. Yes, his new outfit because doesn't he
old
give his
outfit Renton. Yeah,
he gives his jacket to Maurice.
Yes, exactly. No, yes, this is post. Well, okay, design wise, this is post TV Renton. Now, who this fucking Renton actually is?
Who knows? That's the thing. Like now, it's a multiversal tale. It doesn't matter. Like
it doesn't matter.
Is Eureka's Renton dead? Of course he is. Who cares? There's another one waiting around the corner.
Which Eureka and which Renton?
Yeah, I mean, like at this point, it's. So this movie's kind of a mess.
This movie fucking sucks. This movie is such a fucking. I don't know, man. Were we exaggerating a bit with the first one? Maybe, but now I'm even more convinced.
No, the first one was also really bad.
Yes.
I think the first movie is notably worse than this.
At least this one is like original.
Again, I think I still, I think I would agree with you guys. I think on just an emotional gut level, this movie made me feel way worse than the first movie.
Right. I get that because the first movie is just sort of bad and confusing, but this movie is like actually, if you like the TV show, you're a bad person.
This movie is like actively noxious. But
I don't know. Like I think I am, of the three of us, I am probably the most sort of positive on this movie, and to be clear, I still think it's pretty bad and confusing. I think it has a couple of interesting ideas. I, as we established on Good Night Sleep Tight Young Lovers, I do kind of like seeing weird alternate versions of the characters, and I have fun wrestling with a few of the concepts they bring up here, and because I am a comic book guy, I am sort of drawn to like weird narratives about like rewriting universes and traveling to parallel timelines and stuff like that. So I don't think that this movie is irredeemable, but I think it's a pretty bad execution on a lot of those ideas.
It could have been something interesting, but I think in that case it would never have borne the name Eureka 7.
Yeah, I mean, but unfortunately, it is. It is called Eureka 7, and so we have, this, like what Anemone what Tomoki Kyoda tells us at the end of this movie. This is the universe we have to live in. Is the one where this is a Eureka 7 movie.
Yeah.
Well,
that about sums it up, huh?
Who's excited for movie 3? Yes.
Well, I mean, at least there were like a couple of years between this one and the third one,
I think
years during which Tomoki Kuroda and Daisato had time to find themselves and become even worse writers.
So I hate to disappoint you, but Daisato did not write the third movie.
Oh,
that's all Kyoda, baby.
Yes.
Boy.
All Kyoda all the time for this last one.
Yes.
I know remarkably little about the third movie. We didn't even really talk about like what we may have known about this movie. I will just say to keep it brief. I was aware through cultural osmosis. I was aware of this movie's twist long before I'd ever seen it. It's why I never wanted to watch this movie, because I was like, why would I watch a movie that says all the things that it says?
I feel like even if you don't know the twist, it is fairly easy to see coming. Quite frankly.
So I was just like, why do that to myself? Like, I already didn't like Ow. Why would I watch more bad Eureka 7, right? The third movie is almost like a complete black box. Like, the only thing I know about it is that there are a number of sequences in it that are like, I would jokingly call Sakuga compilation fodder.
Sure.
Horror farming.
If a little bit of like, if you look up like a compilation of like so and so key animators, like portfolio of Sakuga.
If you look up sick mecha moments, volume 23 on YouTube.
Yeah, it's like, wow, there sure are a lot of scenes from what I think is the third Eureka 7 movie.
I mean, the thing is, I will say, like, because this movie was released in 2021, and which is, only about 5 years ago now. You mean
the third one, right?
Yes, the third one. Yes, sorry, yes. But and obviously, a large part of that delay because
COVID.
That delay was because there was a global pandemic, which is completely understandable. But my memory is that by the time we had reached this point, there was almost no hype left.
No,
none.
People
there was just no aura anymore.
Yes.
People were just sort of acknowledging that it existed. Like, even serious fans like you and I, G, were just kind of, I guess that thing.
Yeah,
exists.
no, I can tell you. I mean, we should probably save that for when we get to the third movie. But I can tell you, the attitude at the time when this movie was going through its like promotional rounds was like, oh, right, that thing's finally coming out. Okay.
Yeah, I think that pretty well sums it up there. So get excited for that, I guess. On that note, I must say that will be our last episode, for real this time, because as much as I would like to make us do an entire podcast about the light novel adaptation of the TV show, or Gravity Boy and Lifting Girl, or perhaps the Four Coma adaptation of this movie, or stuff like that, this will be the end of the ride. So
it's a bummer ride. I mean, we could have continued if there were like an official sequel or anything, but unfortunately, no such thing.
We'll count our blessings there, perhaps. But yes, so next time, for better or worse, it will be the final episode of Blue Mondays. We will talk about the third High-Evolution movie, which is titled Eureka 7 Hi-Evolution, which is not a confusing title at all.
No, definitely not.
And is beloved by copy editors the world over.
Resident Evil, Biohazard, Resident Evil.
So, if you do have any questions or comments or anything you'd like to see us talk about in particular, I suspect we will also spend a little time talking about, the podcast as a whole and how we feel about this project on its completion. But if there's anything in particular you would like to know, drop us a comment, leave it here on YouTube, on the blog, whatever you like, and you can subscribe to the podcast for the one remaining episode on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, Stitcher, YouTube, ring the bell, all of the stuff that all the YouTubers say, and get ready for the final round. All that remains for me to do is to say thank you, Aqua.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jay.
Always glad to be on.
And we will see you one more time in the future.
Finish the fight.
Right, now I have to dub the Halo music over the end.